Welcome to Around the Bases, the pop culture and sports podcast with your host,
Charlie Seymour.
And I'm Tim Sternberg. Hit it, Nick. We are back with another awesome week here on Around the Bases. I had to laugh when we
play the theme song, it's just I just love it.
All right, we'll start again.
Come
on.
Oh, keep it.
All right, we'll keep it. See, we're gonna keep it. We folks, we're not gonna edit this out. We're just gonna keep it in. So normally, what happens is I will do the intro. We play the theme from the great Nick Testa, and then we give it a little pause. We do a kind of little thing and then we go in live and say, "Hey, we're welcome back. We're another week here on Around the Bases." And Charlie did the finger thing that I normally do, and I just cracked up. I couldn't stop.
I was dancing to the theme song. Don't mind me.
Well, Nick's theme song is awesome.
That's what I'm saying.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm cracking up with you right now.
Fireworks galore. Sorry.
Yeah, happy 4th of July, everybody. It's our nation's birthday. Wow. Yeah, I'm old enough to remember the centennial in 1976. Well, not really remember, but I think I was 5 years old. But yeah, I remember the atmosphere.
You're early. You already turned 6. Aren't you an early birthday?
No, November. I'm like you.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
You're just trying to really. Okay, fine.
I know your birthday. I know your birthday.
I know. We're 2 November people right here. I mean, you're a Scorpio, I'm a Sagittarius. We're 2 weeks apart. Yeah. So it's exciting. We had the finale.
Did it play out how you were expecting it to play out? Because I'm gonna say
no. Did I expect, spoiler alert, folks, if you haven't watched it by now, what? Paula won? What? How? Huh? I don't know. Like, if I was to create a show, right, and call it House of Villains, Paula would absolutely be on that show.
Also, let's not make sure we gloss over the fact that not only did she win, but it was 10-1.
It was almost Joe got 1 vote. I mean, what? Like, how? And I will tell you straight up, we've had this conversation before on this podcast. My mom is not a fan of her, and I watched it like an hour before my mom did, and my mom was in the other room.
So you probably could hear her reacting.
Legit hear her scream. She was like screaming, like, what is going? I'm like, I start laughing. I'm like, oh, you're at the end. She's like, shut up.
Yeah.
I can't believe she won the GOAT. What the heck? But yeah, I certainly wouldn't have voted for her if I was there, but
I don't know when this happened, maybe the last 5-10 years or so, but it seems like kind of the new school voting is not the same as how it once was, and maybe I'm just a classical type of person and kind of like the old school stuff, but to me, these games and competitions and shows, the best player of the game should win. And absolutely zero universe was that Paula, but
absolutely. And yeah, and I'm not even talking about the nice person versus the mean person, because mean people do win games and do play a good game and should get the vote without a doubt.
Had she won a bunch of competitions, sure.
I mean, the only thing, and I saw to her credit, was voting Devon out, getting Devon out.
That was a big move, but that was her first and only arguably big move.
Yeah. What kind of stretch was that, really, to get the okay, all right, good for you. I don't know. I think Joe did. I mean, like I said last week, when we were talking about the anticipation of the finale, there wasn't much I was going to root for. Like, I didn't really know who would win at that point. But I would think Joe would be the better of the vote. But he didn't. I mean, socially, I guess he played a good game.
Yeah.
but apparently not. I
Depending
mean,
on who you ask.
yeah, I mean, if he did play a good social game, he would have won the game. So I don't know. Like, I didn't think she was not from this. Maybe they saw it something different, not seeing it on camera that we saw.
Another thing I thought that was interesting was in this version of a competition show, they gave them a strict timed 1 hour to go win over the favor of their
Yeah,
fellow guests that they had just previously voted out. That I
I
thought
can't
was
believe I was surprised Devon voted for Paula.
and she didn't even get to her yet. That's what was even more
She's
surprising.
like,
So
yeah, for
they
those
must
who
have had
may
some
not have
goodwill
watched
together.
it, yeah, she basically she at the end the time was up and she goes over to Devon. She goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't have a chance," and then all of a sudden she's interrupted by Tosh, and Tosh is like, "Time's up."
Time's
And I don't
up.
know how
Time's
much of
up.
that is the
He was
joke or not, you
screaming
know?
the time. You can hear
Yeah.
him yelling it though in the cuts of them running around.
It's, I don't, with Tosh, I don't know how much of that is a shtick and how much of it is actual, I'm
Yeah.
hosting a show. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there was some reality to that there's a time limit and, I don't know. I was kind of, I think that I was kind of a little disappointed. Overall in the season, I wish we had more players than we did. I feel like we had maybe two or three or four players in the game, like Wendell Devon, um, the the young lady from The Bachelor, um,
Tasha.
Tasha. We had some good players. I just don't think we had the quantity that we might. Even the Baker at the end. I mean,
Jason.
Jason, I think was a player. I mean, he played
He
the
was
game.
cooking.
Yeah,
See
literally.
what I did there?
But bump, it's happening. Yes. Well, if you want a good father's joke or a dad joke or a pun, around the bases. But you know what I mean, though. Like
Yeah.
significant players in a game, and listen, I don't necessarily view the GOAT as like this major reality competition that makes a brand new show.
Well, yeah, exactly. It
But
was
if
their
you
first season.
but if you're gonna call the show the GOAT, how do you not have a Boston Rob playing the game? Or how do you not have, like, I mean, even some of the better, Davon is a really good Big Brother player, but there are other Big Brother players too that are pretty
Well, to answer your
iconic.
first question, they didn't have a Rob on there because he was busy filming Deal
Oh
or
yeah,
No
Deal
Deal
or No Deal
Island.
Island. Yeah.
And
Which
then
and now he's
for
filming The Traders.
so they
Surprise.
didn't want to wait
Uh
3 years for Rob's availability to open.
It's funny. I was watching today on YouTube, because I was not in the Survivor verse for a number of years, and I was watching the press junket for Winners at War because I wasn't really. I watched a little bit of Winners at War, but I really wasn't into it, and it was interesting to see the pre-show kind of press junket. They had everyone, almost all the big people there, except for the person who eventually won the show. Which was interesting how they did that. So it's good to see in the future to kind of
If
take a
somebody's
gather
missing,
Survivor 50. Yes, Survivor 50, which is coming up. There's a lot of talk in the Survivor verse about who would possibly be on a Survivor 50 season. They did say it's returnees, but they didn't say what type of returnees yet. Are we gonna have old school, new school, legends? And actually, Rob has a podcast, is doing one episode every weekday, started in the first Borneo season and moving all the way up to season 46.
and they're doing highlighting people they think could be involved, right?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Today they were up to Survivor 20, which is Winners at War.
So they're
um
just under halfway.
Not Winners at War, sorry. um what was Redemption Island, I think it was. I don't know. But that's the time, by the way, that I started to kind of disconnect from
Survivor 20,
Survivor.
Heroes, Villains, maybe?
Heroes and villains, yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's the time I started
That's
disconnecting.
09.
So yeah, I don't know.
August to September of 09 was
Oh
filmed.
wait, wow.
That was a Traders player winning season.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. So I don't know. We'll we'll see how that kind of shapes out. We, of course, here on the Round of Bases will have our own predictions and we'll kind of go through the seasons, and that's going to force this host to rewatch some of those seasons that, well, watch actually some of the seasons I've never seen before. So that'll be interesting. Considering,
Only ones that will apply. You'll probably need to brush up on.
yeah, I mean,
There probably won't be
especially
that many.
the 2030 winners at war. I know who won. It makes it kind of, it takes away a little bit of the fun, but you know,
Yeah, you can
we'll
still see
see.
the gameplay and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Speaking of reality shows, I saw it this week. I don't know if you saw it yesterday. Julie Chen loves to tweet out when Big Brother comes close to the starting period. She likes to tweet out these spoilers or these little teasers, and she teased out a picture of the memory wall. They updated the Big Brother logo a little bit to go back to a camera in the O, which is a real drawback or pushback to season one of the show when the logo was a camera.
Okay.
And I saw a report yesterday. The finalists were chosen, the alternates have been chosen, and yesterday they went into sequester. So what that means is that you're going to start. So yesterday they had, those videos where they find their key and they did all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to start to see like now CBS is going to start really putting out house tours and stuff because the contestants themselves can't see it because they're going to be in sequester.
Right.
So,
interesting. That
ooh,
starts like the 8th, 17th, and the 18th.
Yeah,
like
that's
that, right?
2 weeks of sequester. Can you imagine? We were just 2.5 weeks in Atlanta, just
Wow.
like we are family. We
Similar,
weren't in sequester.
but they wouldn't get that.
At least we had freedom.
And we got our phones back at the end of the night.
Yeah, we got our phones back at the end of the night. We could order whatever we want to order. We can hang out with each other and talk. When they're in sequester,
so they're just alone, or are they with the people?
No, they're in a room and they have a handler who visits them, and they're not allowed to leave the room except for a scheduled time because they don't want any cross contamination. Wow. So it's a very like.
So what do they do for 2 weeks? Just watch Netflix?
They give them DVDs. They're not even allowed to watch regular television because of spoilers. So they give them like DVDs of the show and movies and stuff to watch. I would be out of my mind insane.
You're not. That's not a selling point for applying for Big Brother.
But I would still do it because I'm a masochist.
40 days after the 2 weeks of sequester, that turns into a nice breezy 55, 56 days.
Well, I mean, for $750,000,
I think if you're the one winner.
When I'm the one winner.
What if you did all that and got third?
They still get money. I know they get a stipend every week, much more than, well, a lot. I think it's like something like $2,000-3,000 a week they get in stipend.
Just for staying alive? Wow.
Just for staying alive, yeah.
You gotta get to that last week.
We will be all over Big Brother. We'll be a little delayed. Hey, maybe I'll have some spoilers for Survivor. You never know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll have to get you in on the Big Brother pool this year too.
Oh yeah. Hopefully I won't.
Once I get that, I'll send it to you.
Hopefully I won't crap the bucket like I have that baseball pool.
Well, this one is if for anyone else listening, if you want in as well, a friend of the pod, as we like to say, runs a Big Brother pool. It's literally $5 to enter.
Who runs it?
Actually, it's run by someone's one of the families of someone who's in our fantasy league.
Nice.
The Bejoses, Brad and Lauren Joseph.
All right, Brad and Lauren, I want in, so let's do it. Absolutely. And yeah, I love Big Brother. So handicapping and forecasting Big Brother.
Even more rooting interest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, so we have exciting stuff with Big Brother coming up. I saw there's a trailer soon. Lucky 13 is coming out on ABC. It's a new game show that's by the makers of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And the object of Power of Lucky 13, I don't know why I want to keep saying there was a Power of 13 show. That's why. Lucky 13. The object is there is like a true and false question they have to guess or something like that. There's not a lot out about it, but it seems really exciting and I can't wait. I know it. I heard that it filmed last week or 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas. Um, so Lucky 13 makes sense that it would be filmed in Vegas.
And
So we'll
did
see.
and didn't even mention who the hosts are.
Yeah, one of my favorite, just a good dude who like I don't know, I love him. And I mean he was a member of the Miami Heat.
No one does not love him.
I mean, who does not love Shaq? Shaquille O'Neal.
He's the
I mean,
best.
I when he was a member of the Heat, I mean, I love him anyway, but he's such a good dude. Like he does so many awesome things. He's just a nice person. And who's his co-host?
Gina Rodriguez.
Oh yeah, Gina Rodriguez. That's interesting. That'll be a good
That's great. That's
combination.
a great combo.
Yeah. Yeah, so Shaq and Gina Rodriguez. My understanding of the contestants are in the audience and they're doing kind of like a fastest finger type of thing like they did on Millionaire. So probably Gina Rodriguez will be in the audience kind of with a mic and seeing how people are doing. And I don't know. I'm assuming that's kind of how that's going to be set up. And that will be airing side by side with a brand new season of Big Bucks and No Whammies. Pressure Luck is coming back. Love, love, love that show. Elizabeth Banks, who is amazing and awesome, hosted. You talk about an exciting game show. That's on it keeps you on the edge of your seat. Real excited about that. So that will be coming out shortly. And Family Feud, Celebrity Family Feud is coming back with Steve Harvey, so that'll be fun. That's your game show update from Tim, the game show guy.
Do those come back in the summer as well?
Yeah, ABC Summer Fun and Games are bringing it back with those shows. I believe Lucky 13 is replacing The Chase, which is unfortunate because I love that
Oh
show.
no, really? I love the
Yeah,
chase.
yeah.
Damn, I didn't know
I,
that.
you talk about a tough game. That's very hard to win that game, The Chase. So yeah, that's a show I would absolutely
They
consider
had
going
James
on.
and Ken and the Brad the Buzzsaw. I mean, man,
Yeah,
how did
and
that not make it?
at some point, The Beast, which I love The
Yeah.
Beast. The Beast, I've been watching and catching up on Masterminds, which is a game show network game. And you talk about tough questions. Oof, that stuff is tough. But yeah, we'll be talking a little bit. I won't be recapping so much of that. I do understand this month they're going to be filming in Ireland the four seasons 2 and 3 back to back. I know season 2 will start airing in the fall. I'm assuming season 3 will start airing in the winter around the time January when the original show started. So literally, Rob Lowe is over there. um, and that should be fun. We'll
A
be
lot
all
to look forward
absolutely
to.
recapping that. Yeah. A lot of great TV to look forward to. Speaking of great TV, let me ask you a question. Did you have in your bingo card Killer Sheep
No.
watching The Boys?
I
Dude, what the heck is
that
going on?
was that was
Shut
that was pretty good. That was a pretty good sheep impression. Don't quit your day job, but
up.
the, the that was one of the crazier things I've ever seen in anything. I mean,
What the like in boys style, right? It was very like all of a sudden, wait, is that a sheep like flying in the air at them with the big teeth going?
so okay. How
Well, we have
often
to.
how often do you have an episode like you just mentioned where you have flying sheep and you don't I'm not even sure if that was the most disturbing thing of the episode. And for me it might have been something involving Simon Pegg.
Oh, can you explain?
Yeah, I'll explain. Okay. They gave Huey's dad, Simon Pegg's character, some V because he was
Well,
down.
who gave him the V though? I didn't think.
His mom did.
Oh, because I know Yui changed his mind. He didn't want to do
And
it,
then
and all of a sudden they see the V
I
going in the
saw you
veins.
with it. She said I saw you with it and I thought that's what you wanted.
Oh my god!
So she did it, which is why for a good talk about a tense episode, multiple minutes of that episode, I thought, oh my gosh, she's gonna
She's
die.
dead.
I
Yes.
thought so many times she's dead, especially after she was the one that gave him the compound V. But
So Yui's dad was basically brain dead, and she gave him Compound V, and
and he
he
woke up and only
Yo.
remembered from like 1999, 2000, whatever it was, some
his
time.
short-term memory was
Huey
gone.
was still a boy, so he didn't even recognize Huey. But okay, so if you're not familiar with the boys, after you get this compound V, you basically turn into not a superhero, but you get some sort of enhancement in some sort of way. And poor Simon Pegg's character, poor Huey's dad, basically was like teleporting but didn't know what he was doing. So
He kind of got the same similar powers to D-Train,
yeah,
basically.
except without the super speed going everywhere.
Yeah.
But A-Train.
A-Train.
But in very, very the boys fashion, he ends up basically teleporting into a lying in the hospital dying patient, and then he Tim's covering his face because of how gross it was. He literally then basically reappears, and he's now standing in him and has basically killed him.
Can I say, it's dude, I it's really gross and scary, and there's a little bit of funny to it, if that makes sense.
I know.
I don't want to laugh. I don't want to laugh. But literally, this dude is in conversation flirting with this nurse, and all of a sudden, the father comes through, and he's like, "Hey!"
I can't stop it. Oh my god, I'm sorry. Boom.
And he's literally standing in the middle of the hospital bed.
That was a lot.
Oh my god. But the sheep. So just so you guys know, with the sheep, it's the compound V apparently was leaked into the groundwater of this farm. And so the animals
were there. That's how they did a
good
job explaining that.
And so you first see this bull, right? This big bull. And they're like, is that a bull with compound V? Oh my God. But then you see like these sheep converge on the bull and basically
like 8-on-1
and ate it. And then all of a sudden you see the characters go, oh, and they run into this barn, and this whole you hear sheep banging against the walls of the barn, and oh my God. How it resolves is that they have this virus that it only infects people that have powers, and they end up there's a dead body, and they inject it in the dead body and put the dead body outside for the sheep to eat it, and eventually the sheep start dropping from the sky.
They just don't know how long it's going to take.
Oh my God. But you're right though, Charlie. I think the scariest part of that episode by far was the father basically he thought the mother was the same person who left him and his son. So he still had, like you said, that memory of the mom. So he was going after her, chasing her around the hospital. And eventually what ends up happening is Yui injects him with some kind of drug that basically ends it all, and puts the father out of his misery, and he dies.
I just don't even know what was going to be the scene next week where we say, okay, how are they going to top it this time? Because they keep doing
it. I mean, after last week's multiplication of a naked person, that's the best way I could put it. A few weeks back, but you have the V and
the lobotomy.
And then so talk about polar opposite type of show, but just as intense sometimes, the Bear. We're not going to really get into particulars in that, only to say that it's good.
Yes.
I find the story is a little slow this season. I don't know, like, is it just me, or is it kind of just I feel like it's without getting into too much, it's dragging a little bit. I'm only up to episode 5, so I don't know how much of that is, because just where I'm at in the story. But it's still good. It's still good. Yeah. Anyway, so we don't want to spoil that for people.
No spoilers here yet. We know it's
no spoilers. Yeah.
Full disclosure, I did already watch the whole season.
Yeah, I know you did.
Fantastic. It's It's great.
I heard they already, so just this is not a spoiler again, but I heard after they filmed the last episode of this season, they did go ahead and film the first 2 episodes of the next season already. So those are in the can.
That makes, without saying anything too much, that makes sense based on
Oh,
where it left off.
okay. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Let's say.
Also, so for a few of the episodes, I believe you've already seen at least one of the scenes, but they filmed for a few days in Evanston, and I saw a couple of the shots right away. I'm like, I know exactly where that is. Yeah,
how did you not become an extra in Evanston?
I put my name in. I tried.
You did?
I did. I applied.
Oh, dude, I would have
I
loved
tried. That
that.
would have been cool to be an extra in the
When did
bear.
they film that?
They filmed that, I want to say
The winter?
February, March-ish.
I know
I
they
don't
just wrapped the
I don't
show
want to say
like
too
recently.
I don't want to say too much, but this won't give anything away. But I don't know if you've seen the scene or not yet, but there's a scene where they're standing outside of a church.
Yes.
That is on Hinman Street in Evanston.
So that's the character Io and the baker. The is that who you're talking about?
Yes,
Yes,
Marcus.
yes. Marcus, yes. I saw that scene. I just saw that scene actually. I just watched it. I think
That
it's
is
episode 5.
Yeah, right around there.
Yeah.
That was that. If you look that, I can drive you by that if you would like to see it.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah. Here. All right. Yeah, Charlie's going to give me the tour
I'll give you
of the bear.
This is right there, and that's right there, and that's about it.
Oh man! So what kind of extras were they looking for? Do you think?
I don't
for
know.
the for that
just
scene
background. I think
for the scene in the church, if you know what I'm saying.
And there's a couple scenes where he's walking around outside just in the area, and I think they had people walking by.
They don't know what they're missing by not picking Charlie Seymour. What's going on here? Come on, movie star. I love it. So yeah, I'm excited. Well, we will talk about the bear once the season ends. Well, it's ended. But once the summer ends, we'll kind of go into it a little more.
We'll give people a couple weeks to catch up on it.
But the boys, yeah, we're gonna spoil that crap.
Well,
sorry.
I feel like the boys is one a week. It's different.
I mean, the bear, they actually put the whole season out, and we don't know what pace. Like, I'm not even halfway through it myself because, yeah, I could watch, and it's no shot on either show, but I could literally watch the boys, boom, 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 if they released it that way. The Bear is a very emotional show, and it takes a lot out of you. Yeah, at least me, when I'm watching it, it takes a lot out of me.
No, you're totally right. I don't remember who it was specifically, but Rich Eisen on their pod, the Rich Eisen show, they had someone on talking about the Bear. They had the same thing about that. They said they can only watch like 2 or 3 at once because it was just so much.
Yeah, I
definitely watched it. I want to say in 2 or 3 pieces.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of, Joel McHale work, I cannot wait. I keep hearing rumors and rumblings about Community movie. I cannot wait for that to happen.
I know.
We're gonna be all over that for sure.
That's gonna be great.
I was watching, I sent you a link. Because I'm catching up on stuff from 2020, mind you. In 2020, a lot of these shows did these table reads of their own shows, and Community got back together, including Donald Glover, who's bigger than anything that he was when, Childish Gambino, when Community was out, and they did this read through. It is the funniest thing I've ever heard. Like, and it's that episode is so hilarious. If you don't know the episode, it's basically when Chevy Chase's character dies, and they go through the will, and he leaves almost every character a canister of sperm, and
but it's always the last thing that they say, and he gets like one meaningful thing, and then
it's so funny. Oh my God, such a funny episode. I love it. Yeah, so I can't wait for that. So I have to ask how this might be a painful conversation for you. How
this
yeah.
Does this look like?
What's that?
That's me waving a white flag.
Oh, how are the Cubs doing, buddy? You knew what I was gonna ask.
It's almost sell time. Almost sell time.
So who would you think? I mean, we just went through. I'm gonna put myself. I'm gonna make myself a Cubs fan for a minute. So when I say we, I mean Cubs fans. We just went through this a couple of years ago, right? So they got rid of Rizzo. They got rid of Javi. They got Javi could have gotten rid of that's fine, but they got rid of Rizzo, Javi, Bryant. What? Where can we go from here? Like, weren't we in the process of rebuilding the Cubs? Like, what is going on?
Yeah, I mean that
The
was
chemistry's not there, right? I guess that's what's happening.
they're just losing a lot of one-run games. I think that's the nature of baseball. Baseball is just kind of a, you know,
Yeah, it is. What do you think if I was to ask you as a Cubs fan, what do you think the diagnosis would be? Like, what would you say is the impetus? Like, are there particular players that you can target and talk about, or
it's it's the general lack of they just are struggling with runners in scoring position, third to last in baseball. Well,
do you think that's on the
you lose.
coaching staff?
No, I think that's just a little bit of luck every year.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think every year you have a team that loses a lot of run games and then just kind of, it just happens that way some years. Just that's just baseball, It's not it's unlike any other sport in the sense that you have 162 games a year, so all these little things add up over a course of a long season. And not to mention when you have basically your entire bullpen injured and you can't hold a
Yeah.
lead, you're not going to do much.
Well, that's been the Mets' problem too up until recently. I mean, honestly, well, it's two things, like your bullpen being injured and pitching not being there, but then when you do have pitching there, not supporting the pitching with runs. And like you said, like when you get to a one run game at the end of the game, not only is it a loss, it's a devastating loss because you literally could have won the game, with one run, and you can't do the walk off and you can't like get through it or not even get the walk off, but just have the lead going into the ninth inning and all of a sudden losing it. And so then you look at your relief pitching and go, is that the problem? So I mean,
The way the season's going, to sum things up perfectly, Justin Steele was the Cubs player of the month in June. You know who
wow.
Justin Steele is, right?
Yes,
He had a 213 earned run average in 6 starts. He had 0 wins.
that's crazy.
That's outrageous.
How does that happen? How
Couldn't
does that
score a damn
happen?
run for him. Every time they had a lead, they blew it. It's just how it goes sometimes. Just
I
how
don't
it
want to
goes.
be I don't want to be cocky with the Mets. The Mets are doing really well.
And they
Um,
continue to keep winning.
yeah, I mean, I think in the last 20 games we're like 16-4 or something like that. It's good. I mean, granted the schedule hasn't been that pressing. I mean, we lost to the Nationals today, 7-5.
That's the
Um,
that's the first time they've lost the Nationals this year, and
yeah,
they're like 18-5 in the last 23 against them. They own them.
we
Well, I
do.
think they're 6-1 against them this year.
Something was off today. That's all. I don't know why. We're eight and
Baseball,
two
you
in the
lost a
last.
close game,
It's 100 and how many games in the season? So I don't know. We're 8-2 in the last 10 games. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
and
I
that's
mean,
including
considering.
today.
So if we can keep this up to the All-Star break, which is coming up soon, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I think we're on track not to be sellers, which is
No,
where I
Mets are
want us.
buyers. He came out pretty
Yeah,
pretty definitively the other day.
yeah. So, but I never count anything until the fat
Hey,
lady thing
we can
says
make
we.
another trade if you want.
No, no, no. It's okay. I love you, buddy, but no.
You got another top prospect that you wanna give away for a rental?
No, we're not giving away Pete Crow Armstrong again. You have him. Is he still in AAA? Is he still
No,
down there?
he had two different RBI doubles tonight and
That's
stole another
great.
base.
I'm rooting for that kid. I like him. Like I said, anytime you're not playing the Mets, I will root for your Cubs. Um, I'm hoping they turn it around, or at least, I know.
No,
I know.
it's
He's shaking
too
his head
little,
no
too
for our
late.
listeners. But at least then I hope the right decisions are made. Um, how much faith do you have in the leadership of the Cubs?
A pretty good amount, honestly. they've still got one of the best farms in the game right now, and they've got a lot
Is
of.
that thanks? Is that
They've
thanks to
got three
Theo?
guys playing in the no. This is well past Theo
After
now.
Theo, yeah.
Yeah. They've got three. They've got three kids playing in the futures game.
That's pretty impressive.
All three hitters.
Neither one of our teams, for understandable reasons, a little bit less with the Mets, but neither one of our teams have starters in the All-Star game. So yeah, let's talk about the starters in the All-Star game real quick. So I have it up here. Let's review it. The American League All-Star starters from the Cleveland Guardians, Kwan. From the Yankees, Judge. From the Yankees, Soto. Not surprising there. I'm hoping the Soto is on the National League team next year. Wink, wink. He goes to the other side of the city, so to speak. Gunnar Henderson from the Orioles. Love him. Love him. Jose Altuve from the Astros.
We can skip
Ramirez from the Guardians. Vladdy Jr. from the Toronto Blue Jays. Love Vladdy. Adley Rushman. Love Adley from the Orioles. And, I don't blame Jordan Alvarez because he was not on the team in 17. But he's still an Astro, so it's hard for me. But I don't dislike Jordan as much as I do anybody who's on the team.
As a starter.
Yeah, and Jordan came out of the gate pretty strong as a rookie, and then kind of so now he's back. I love that,
which is kind of surprising.
Soto, which is amazing. I know he's been on the team before, not as a starter, but so we go over to the
NL side.
Okay.
You got William Contreras, Cutchin.
Let's
Harper.
All right, we'll talk about the good ones first. But William Contreras, he's a Brewer. Okay. Speaking of Brewers, Christian Yelich. Ever since he left the Marlins, I kind of Fernando Tatis Jr. Really? Jurickson Profar from the Padres also. And then you got basically, you got Marte is on there. You got
Marte at second.
Ketel Marte. You got Shohei Ohtani, of course, who's going to be a perennial All-Star as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I can't see him not making an All-Star team. And then basically you got two Phillies. You got Alec Baum and Trey Turner. And three Phillies. Bryce Harper. But isn't Turner and Harper injured? I thought they were just added to an injury
Turner
list.
Is definitely not injured. He had 2 home runs against the Cubs yesterday.
What about Harper?
Harper is on the injured list.
Oh, okay.
Both him and Schwarber, who's also injured, could be back by the time the All-Star break rolls around because they've been out for days already.
Have they announced the alternates yet?
No, they did not.
I predict Brandon Nimmo will see him. I'm assuming. He's been playing pretty well for the Mets, at least as a representative of the Mets. Maybe we'll see Francisco. Maybe we'll see Alvarez in his first All-Star game. I don't know.
Does he have enough at bats?
I don't know.
He was hurt for a while. I don't know.
I would love to see Pete. Is Pete playing in the home run derby?
The only person so far announced for the home run derby is Gunnar Henderson, who broke the news himself live, mic'd up on Sunday Night Baseball.
Wow.
Pete's got 18 or 19 bombs again, though. So
I think Pete is a definite candidate for
the only other news about the home run derby that's out is Shohei is not participating, which makes sense. He's still recovering from Tommy John while hitting 27 home runs. Think about that. Think about that.
In this world, does Shohei Ohtani on leave as a pitcher for Tommy John surgery, but is killing it as a batter?
Think about how many pitchers in baseball have undergone Tommy John. We're talking hundreds.
Prominently, Jacob DeGrom
not doing anything for an entire year. And what Shohei doing? Oh, he's only the favorite for MVP offensively.
Oh, does that happen? The Dodgers, man, they were lucky to get him. I mean, he is just killing it for the Dodgers. Yeah, I mean, listen, as much as I dislike the Dodgers, I will never, ever, ever dislike Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is just like a multi-generational player. Like
He's beyond. He's if unicorns had unicorns, he's that.
Who, like, a pitcher that hits, but not only hits, like hits better than most hitters? Like, what? That's you the skill that's necessary for those that are non-baseball fans. It is very hard to just master the skill of pitching well. It's incredibly hard to master the skill of hitting well. To do both is unbelievably difficult. And the amount of power that is in pitching is different from the power that's in hitting. So you're using multiple skill sets to do both. That's why you have DH, right? Because your pitchers are not typically good hitters because first of all, pitchers are not in a game every maybe 4 days or so in a rotation or 5 days. And they're just not typical hitters because the concentration is on pitching. So for Shohei to be who he is unbelievable. And what an asset to an organization. So yeah.
Not to mention how unbelievably team friendly he made it the contract.
He's just a nice guy. Yeah, he did. He gave them he deferred a lot of his payments. Speaking of deferred payments,
you could say
a lot. Ken Griffey Jr. just was paid his last deferred payment.
You mean Bobby Bonilla?
No, Ken Griffey Jr. actually had deferred payments.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Bobby
I just
Bonilla
saw a report.
He's got
that was
more of them. But
July 1st is Bobby Bonilla Day. For those who don't know, the New York Mets have been perennially paying Bobby Bonilla. Ooh.
For like Bobby, how long has Bobby Bonilla been out of baseball?
God, he left baseball in the early 2000s, I think, right? I'll tell you right now.
It's damn near 20 years, if not more.
When did Bobby Bonilla leave baseball? Because I'm too lazy to type.
He's been being paid $1 million and change once a year, every year.
The deferment happened in 1999.
Jesus.
He hasn't played a baseball game since 2001. Was his last baseball game. 2001.
So 23 years.
He
started the deferments after the deal in 99.
Bonilla 60 hasn't played a baseball game since 2001, but he continues to be paid until he's 72 years old.
He's got another dozen years. 2036.
What a gig. What a gig.
He better take that agent out for dinner every year.
Yes, I'm telling you. Forget that. He should take that agent out for dinner in Paris every year. Yeah. Oh, wow. So cool. So yeah, we have a busy week, man. A lot of good stuff happening. Can't wait to watch the new episode of The Bear, which drops tomorrow.
That's the whole thing's out there for you. All 10. That's on Hulu.
I mean, not The Bear. See, I'm The Boys.
We got the Bear, the Boys,
Bear, the Boys. New episode. Yeah.
Yeah, that should be good.
Yeah, I can't wait. This has been Around the Bases, the pop culture and sports podcast with your host,
Charlie Seymour.
And I'm Tim Sternberg. We'll see you next week, folks, for another awesome week of recapping the best of sports and pop culture. Until then, see ya. Bye.